My name is Dr. Nafeesur Rahman. I've been working in the disability and development sector in Bangladesh for almost 25 years now. When we're talking about the definition, there's no health-wise definition anymore, which used to be present many years back. This definition is from a human rights perspective, and it says that we have to understand that on the one hand, there are some people who have some kind of limitations, or they have some kind of impairments, and on the other hand, there are several barriers that exist in the communities, in the country, which could be infrastructural or attitudinal. So when these people come into contact with these barriers, there's a situation that happens where these people do not get participation on an equal basis with others within the community. And that situation overall is called disability. We have so many different kinds of disabilities, but if we look at the law that was enacted in Bangladesh in 2013, that has classified disability in 12 parts, or if we say actually it's 10 different classifications. The 11th is a combination of any of those 10, and the 12th is if a person has kind of disability that has not been classified in any of those 10 yet, that is brought down as others. But if we look at those 10 classifications, then there's people with physical disabilities, there are people with visual disabilities, hearing and speech disabilities, there's intellectual disabilities, then there's disability resulting from mental illnesses, then there are the neurodevelopmental disabilities, which are 4 different types combined, known as neurodevelopmental disabilities, but there's in separate, we can say there's autism spectrum disorder there's cerebral palsy, there's intellectual disability, and Down syndrome. So there are all these different types. This is a very interesting challenge that we have in Bangladesh, because we actually don't know how many people we have in this country. If we look at the different kinds of statistics that we have, then the statistical authority in Bangladesh is the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics. According to the last national census that we had in 2011, says only about 1.4% or 1.2% of total Bangladesh, people have some or other kind of disability. But if we look at the detailed survey that they did, the Household Income Expenditure Survey of 2010, and which was again reconfirmed in 2015, this comes to about 9.07%. So there is this huge difference of 9.07% and 1.4%. Now, on the other hand, the Department of Social Services under Ministry of Social Welfare, they are doing a house-to-house survey. And up until now, they have only found out about 1.5 million people with disabilities. So where we are expecting that the total number, if we look at the global statistics, which says about 15% of the total population should be persons with disabilities. So where we were thinking it should be something like 16 million people, there we have only 1.5 million people identified. So it's a huge challenge in Bangladesh to actually say how many people with disabilities we have. There are several kinds of programs going on in Bangladesh, from the government, from the development sector. There's the government mostly, unfortunately, is doing it through Ministry of Social Welfare, not through Ministry of Health. Only recently there are some things coming up under Ministry of Health, but mostly it's under social welfare, and most of these are safety net programs. That is the problem. Development organizations, they're doing development work. They're doing a lot of prevention work, but from the government, it's very little. It's changing. It's changing for the better. A few years back, or a few decades back, it was very bad, but still, people have not fully waken up to the way they should deal with people with disabilities. In recent years, we've had a new, very negative trend. A few years back, people were not really aware of the word autism or autistic people. But in recent years, for some reason, this has become a slang word, which is very unfortunate. When people don't like people, or when people see people doing stupid things, they just call them as autistic. And this is really, if we look at the law that we have, this is actually a crime. This is a punishable offense. So we need to do a lot more to raise awareness of people towards people's rights. Hate speech affects every single person, not only people with disabilities. The bigger problem is that people with disabilities grow up with so much negativity around them. So from a very young age, they become very sensitive to these issues. And it really hurts them. I've had a friend who was once saying, even at the age of almost 45 years, he was saying that I got used to my name like any other person, but when people call me blind, I've heard that for the last 45 years, but it still hurts. So that's the reality, that for any person, hate speech is bad. It's intolerable. But for persons with disabilities, it's even worse.